Sue McMahon and I'm cookery editor of Women's Weekly magazine, and I'm going to show you how to make an apple crumble. So the first thing is to prepare the apples. I've got 3 cooking apples and I'm going to cut them into quarters and then remove the core. So I cut like a V shape to take the core out, and then I use the knife to peel them. And then the apples need slicing. So I'm going to do the same thing with all 3 apples. So once the apples are sliced, I'm going to put half of them into a dish. And then to this I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of sultanas and 4 tablespoons of granulated sugar and a teaspoon of mixed spice. But I'm just going to add half the sultanas to begin with and about half of the sugar. And half of the mixed spice. Then I'm going to put the rest of the apple slices on top. And then I'm going to tip over the remaining sultanas. The rest of the sugar and the rest of the mixed spice. I'm just going to mix it lightly, just so that all the apple is coated in the sugar, and then I'm going to pour over the juice of half a lemon. Now this is then ready for me to put the topping on it. So for the topping, I've got 90 grams of plain flour in the bowl, and I'm going to add 90 grams of oats. I've actually used jumbo oats, but it works just as well using ordinary oats. And then I'm going to add 90 grams of butter. So it's equal quantities of flour, oats and butter. And the butter's at room temperature, so it's quite easy to rub it into the mixture. And I'm going to rub it in until the mixture starts to bind together. Okay, so once it's mixed to this stage, where it's starting to form sort of almost like clumps, that's the crumble topping. So I'm going to put the sugar into it. It's 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And I'm going to mix that in. And then I'm going to scatter this over the top of the apples. So I'm just going to press it down lightly. And I've put it onto a baking tray just in case any juices leak out of the dish while it's cooking. And it now goes in the oven, which I've preheated to 190 centigrade, which is gas mark 5. And I'm going to put that on initially for 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, I turn the oven temperature down to 180 degrees centigrade, which is gas mark 4. And I cook it for a further 30 to 40 minutes until the apples are tender and the top is a light golden colour. So when the apple crumble has had its cooking time, you can test it by just sticking a knife into it. And if a knife goes in easily, then the apples are tender. So I can see it's bubbling, so lots of juice has come out of the apple. So that's the finished apple crumble, ready to serve. And it has a nice generous oaty topping on the top. So my favourite way of having this is with some creme fraiche, but it's good with custard as well. So that's the finished apple crumble.